Hello everyone. Today what I want to do is I want to create some cards. So the reason why this came about is I was working on a different project and I had these left over. These are just regular blank cards that I picked up I think at Michael's. And I've got a few left, and after binging quite a bit of Queer Eye, it made me realize that maybe you should do something nice for someone else in the simplest form possible, in a fun way, but in a thoughtful way. So hand making a card for them. The card can go into an envelope, or it can just be given like this. So I feel like this potential will be more than one part of a video just because of everything we're going to cover. Also, just so the video is not too long. But yeah, so this is what you're working with. And basically, you put a nice heartfelt message inside to a random person or a specific person. So what are we going to need for this? We are going to need to work with very basic things, right? So notepad, pencil, ruler, and an eraser. Okay. Now, I bought this book, Hand Lettering 33 Alphabets, I'm pretty sure it says, and Die Schoensten. It's a German book, or it's in German, I believe. No, I think it is a German book. All right, cool. Yeah, I saw it, and I flipped through it, and yes, I don't understand anything it says, but it does have some nice ideas as far as what these cards could potentially look like. It has some really good ideas for borders and flourishes, but also shares quite a few different fonts that you could use in your cards. But at the end, as I mentioned, it does have these like flourishes that can be used. It's got these banners and things that can be used inside. It's got these, don't want to say emojis, but maybe vector icons, question mark. And then it's got different little borders that we can work with. So because we're working with little grids here, I like to use a grid one. If not, a dot pad works really well too. It's the same thing, just minus the lines. So let's get started. And the first thing I do like is I actually like the border that this has. So imagine basically doing that border here, right? To kind of spice up the card a little bit. So let's do that first. So measuring, right? First thing we're gonna do is how much are we working with here? I'm just gonna put the card right up to my grids already that are already there and just mark it off, right? So got a corner here, corner here, corner here, oops, and the corner there. Now I'm gonna do two of them because mistakes happen, or maybe for options. So this and this, right? So we're just marking them. I mean, you could do three, but let's start with two right now. And give yourself the border that you need. I know, very exciting stuff going on here. Again, you're just giving yourself a border, but not necessarily, doesn't have to necessarily be perfect. This is just to get the project started. And just like anything else, if this becomes too much work, it's no longer fun, it's no longer worth doing, let's be honest. If a great idea takes too long to do, that instant gratification of it is gone. And if this turns into a task or a job, it'll lose a lot of that initial thought of how fun would it be or how nice would it be to do this for someone, right? So, okay, so when we look at this border, so we have the nice little flower petal thingy here in the corner, and then we have a thick line and a thin line. So we're gonna wanna, so how much space do we wanna give this? So if we put the thin line at an inch away from the border, and this is just how I measure and I do these things. That doesn't necessarily mean it is correct by any means. It's just how I do things. So and I'm measuring like this just because I'm going to end up basically writing over all these lines. It's gonna make sense to me right now, and it'll make sense later. Did I do this already? No. Okay. I'm one of those people that just loves to measure 2-3 times just because it makes me feel better to not make too many mistakes. Like I am aware I will be making mistakes, but the less mistakes I make, the better and quicker this will go. Alright, so pretty sure I measured that one wrong, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have our outside line, and we can do one of two things. We can use this little box that was left by the measurements to use as our marker of where our flower is going to go, potentially. But as you can see, there's that twist. So if that is the case, then that means, how do we measure? Yeah, probably if we did like an inch away from it, maybe. Again, this is me just kind of trying to figure out what happens next. So then that means that from here to here is where the line would be. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. This is where you'll make all your mistakes so that when you get to the actual paper, you avoid them. And again, there's no, I mean, I could use a protractor and like get a perfect angle, but again, there's a limit to how much work this should be and how much fun it should be. And if you're worrying too much about something as simple as this, it'll stop being fun. Some would say, well, you're already there, might as well just go for it. And you're absolutely right. I'm choosing not to because part of this still needs to look like it's handmade. Okay, so we have the outside line. Now the thick line inside, if this was an inch out, and so maybe 3 centimeters, 1, 2, 3, and then, so really this is where that other line would be, is what I'm thinking. Let's see what that line would look like. Okay, so if that's what I'm doing there, that means that this line will potentially go here, which gives us this whole section. This is where the eraser comes in, right? And from the picture, Yeah, pretty simple. Free-handed also, so towards the corner. I guess I would do it from here, maybe? And then, not what it looked like, but trying different things here. Let's see, should we just do 3 round ones, potentially? Not mad at this. Yep, so yeah, that I'm okay with. So we're looking at 1 inch between here and here from the card, 2 centimeters at the midway of the inch mark, 1 inch away from the corner to get this angle. So let me actually make this a little darker so we can see what we're talking about. Yeah. Okay, so we have that corner. Okay, so what other one did we like from here? So I kind of like this one. So let's try that one. But I also like that one. But it's a little too close to what we're already doing, so let's do this one next. So thick line outside, actually very similar to whatever we already did, except the lines stay connected. So very similar to what we did. We're going to use that inch mark again. And this is probably where I'll fast forward. Okay, and much like the previous one, right, we got the main parts down. Now this one does have a line between the thick lines. So first things first, let's do that line between the thick ones. So it basically connects. So we'll use the same one. We'll do a 1/2 inch. So from the 1/2 inch mark, which is apparently already there, and the 1/2 inch mark, which is there. I did the full inch. Then we will connect these, and we will make it thick. Wait. No, we will not make it thick. We will keep it thin. Alright, so basically that is what we're doing. That is already there. And then the only thing we'll be adding will be, well, we'll be removing this part and this part. Then here, I just want to put it there right there. Then here where they connect, we would just do that. There you go. I think these would look actually kind of cool as frames around those. Okay. Let's see, should we do a third one? Yeah, let's do a third one. For that, what are we looking at here as far as frames? Maybe this one? They all look kind of cool. Keep coming back to this, although this looks complicated. Not for today, maybe. This one though could be easy to make. Let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. So this will be just for the edges, is my impression. So it's basically a thick line in the middle, two thin ones on the outside. Okay, so let's get our measurements here. And we'll fast forward this since you've seen this before. Okay, now, so two thin ones and a thick one. So let's, if we were to put, yeah, I think it'll be 1.5 inches out. So maybe 1/2 inch is the first line. Then the thick line, then the thin line. Now, that doesn't look bad. Okay, now that diamond that they have there, this will happen somewhere here and here. And we'll see if we put it on all 4 sides. Let's see here. So, from where this, so this is almost 12.5 inches. Yeah, I'll say 12.5 again, which means that 6, probably where the diamond will go. So, somewhere here. Can do it by hand so that it's not something you hate. And then we just have to erase the lines that lead up to it. Put 1 inch out. Okay, so diamond should probably be smaller than that, yeah. Maybe it'll come out a little bit more than the thick line. Okay, and then same with the sides. All right, so moving on to the actual paper. Now, what are our materials going to be for this? Okay, so we're going to keep this here so we can reference it. We're going to need a ruler. We're going to need, what would be a good one to use this? Okay, we have a couple options. So for the thin lines, I'm thinking just a very fine point. Graphic pen. Maybe for the thicker lines, a brush pen, or maybe a marker. Maybe not the thick side, but just the thin line. So let's see. And our ruler. All right, let's take our first card. Let's do some measuring. That's the important part. So let's do this one first. So we went with the inch. So we went with the inch out for the thin line. Okay. Maybe we're gonna use a lead pencil. Get that? Okay, so lead pencil, just for the preciseness of the pencil, that's all. Nothing against the regular pencil. All right, so we're gonna mark 1 inch. We are going to mark 1 inch. And we'll fast forward this. Okay, so we end up with this. Well, we don't end up with that. We still have to put in the final touches. And you know what? Yeah, the final touches can be just getting those lines the way you want them. Doesn't have to be perfect. I tell myself, but I don't follow. All right. Okay, and then we'll use a finer brush pen to do those little flowers in the corner. All right, so no pressure. There we go. But that's okay. Handmade means they won't look just a little bit different, but still very cool. All right, so we have our first one. It doesn't look bad. And then we have the place for the message. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Now we just gotta complete the other ones. So I'll do that, and then for the next video, we'll work on the messages inside. Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on part 2.